Good morning, everybody. My name's Kinsey, and I'm here to guide you guys through an intermediate flow. Today we'll be working on opening our hips. Our hips hold a lot of tension. I'm excited to see how you guys feel after this class. So whenever you're ready, I'll meet everybody at the top of their mat in a downward facing dog. So we're in this downward V shape, right? Our legs are bent. Our arms are straight. There's one straight line from our wrists all the way to our tailbone. Now let's start to introduce some movement to our downward facing dog. Let's pedal out our legs. And let's try to sync our movement with our breath. So inhale, I move. Exhale, I move again. And let's continue in this manner. Your pace, your breath. Great. Now let's neutralize our downward dog. Let's come into a micro bend in our knees. So we're looking towards the top of our mat. There's one straight line. Now let's take the pressure off of our shoulders by dragging our shoulders as far away from the crown of our head as we can. And then let's start to clean up our dog by straightening out our legs. Notice, if you lose that straight line in your spine, stop right there. Don't straighten out your legs anymore. We want to keep that straight line in our spine while simultaneously trying to take our heels closer and closer to the ground. It's okay if your heels don't get there, mine sure don't. So it takes months, years of practice for heels to get to the ground, if they ever do. And if not in this life, let's do it in the next life, all right? So now that we feel comfortable in our downward dog, let's go into our child's pose. You guys have two variations, knees wide open as far as the mat with your hands forward, or knees together with your hands back, palms up towards the sky. And breathe. A couple more breaths here. Come to this still space. I invite anybody and everybody in this class to come into their child's pose whenever you guys feel like it. So if something's too tough, if your body's begging for it, if you just need a breath, if you just need to recuperate, come back to this child's pose at any time during class. Otherwise, I'm going to meet you guys back in a downward facing dog on your next inhale. Get there however you want to. Put out the legs one more time. We're already feeling a little bit warmer. But let's get the warmth flowing. So in your next inhale, take your right leg to the sky. Exhale, take it to your right tricep. And hover there. Your shoulders hover above your wrists. Inhale, swing it back. Exhale, take it to your left tricep. Look over your left shoulder. Inhale, send it back. Exhale, take your knee to your nose and your heel closer to your navel, right? We're going to engage our core as much as we can to keep the shape in our right leg. And then in your next inhale, send it back. Great work. Let's open out our right hip for the first time in this class. So what you're going to do is you're going to swing your hip open, bend your right leg, and swing it about, rotate it out. If you're moving in one direction, maybe start moving in the other direction. Great, make little circles with your knee. And then maybe you want to take it all the way into your first wild thing, or rock start pose. So your right toes come to the ground, and your right hand juts out behind you. Your head falls back, and we breathe, taking our chest to the ceiling. Awesome work, everyone. Now let's reverse those actions, taking our right hand to the ground, swinging our right foot up, and then dropping it to meet our left foot on the ground. Great work. Pedal out your legs. We got one more side to go. Let's do it. Inhale, lift your left leg to the sky. Exhale, take your left knee to your left tricep. Hover your shoulders over your wrists. Inhale, send it back. Exhale, send it to your right tricep. Look over your right shoulder. Inhale, send it back. Exhale, take your left knee to your nose. Hug your left heel in. Stay here for another second. And inhale, send it back. Great work. Let's open up our left hip. So what we're going to do is we're going to stack our hips on top of each other, start to bend our left knee, and make tiny circles. Make sure your shoulders are still in line at the front of your mat. Now make circles in the opposite direction. And when you're ready, if you want to, take it into your full wild thing. Flip your dog. Don't forget to breathe. On your inhale, your chest rises closer and closer to that ceiling, to that sky if you're outside. Oh, it'd be so nice to be outside right now. That's okay, you guys. Yoga can be done inside, outside, wherever you want. So let's come right back into our three-legged dog. Send your left leg to the sky, maybe wiggle it out, and then send it to meet your right. Pedal out your legs. Great work. We're already starting to build that core. So let's start to take it another step further. On your next inhale, bend your legs, look forward towards the top of your mat. You're going to walk to the top of your mat, then you're just going to sit down in the middle of your mat. You know where we're going. I know you hate it, but that's okay. Let's get our juices flowing, and then all the rest of our yoga class is going to be that much easier, that much less stressful. Let's inhale and rise into our Navasana pose. So our lower legs are parallel to the ground. If you want to take this to the next level, maybe straighten out your legs. Otherwise, with your lower legs parallel to the mat, your hands extend alongside. We're going to inhale and extend out. Our torso hugs the ground almost. Exhale, we rise. Whoa, that kind of seems like a crunch. Are you doing crunches, bro? Yeah, I am. So inhale, extend. Exhale, rise, chest to knees. Inhale, extend. Exhale, rise, chest to knees. Don't forget to breathe. We got 30 seconds to go. You guys, your breath, your pace. Take it however you want. Engage that core. Make sure your chest is the guy pushing up as opposed to your knees kind of coming into your chest. That's 20 seconds. $15. Oh, come on, man. We should be done by now, right? No, that's 10 seconds. You got it. 5, 4, 3, 2, and drop it. Lay down. Your palms splay open. Your feet come to opposite sides of the mat. Your eyes are closed and you're breathing. Let's get back in control of our breath. I hope you guys have heard of Ujjayi breathing. It's a type of pranayama technique, a breath technique, where your breath sounds like the sea. Everybody wants to be at the ocean right now, I bet, right? So let's bring it to us. What you're going to do is you're going to hug your tongue and create a little cave at the top of your tongue. Hug your tongue behind the back of your teeth. Press it up there. And then close your mouth as you inhale. You're going to feel your throat lock and very, very quiet noise rise up through your spine. And then what's really magical about this breath is that your exhale sounds exactly the same. So let's try it. Inhale. And let it go. This is called our victorious breath. Leads us to victory, but it also balances us out. So all that crazy pressure we just went through with those crunches, we're going to even them out, we're going to equal them out through that breath technique. Great work. And then when you've mastered your breath, guess what? We're going to rise back into our Navasana on your next inhale. And we're going to continue with our core work. On your next inhale, you're going to extend. This time you're going to wrap your hands around the back of your head, and we're going to go for our bicycle crunches. That means right elbow to left knee, left elbow to right knee. Right elbow to left elbow to right. You got this. Remember, we got 30 seconds, so don't wimp out. That's okay if you do. Remember, your child's pose is always an option, but with my students, I like to push them just a little bit further. See where you can go. Because usually we can go so much further than what we put our minds and bodies to. What I meant to say is the limits that we infuse onto our bodies. Yo, this guy keeps talking, man. When is this going to be over? That's it. You guys have 10 seconds left. That's 5, 4, 3, 2, and drop it. Whoa. Oh, I feel that core work. It's okay. Feels good. Feels good. Come back to that ujjayi breath. So create that cave against the roof of your mouth. And inhale and exhale so that your breath sounds the same, coming in and out, just like the ocean. When your heartbeat starts to return to that normal pace, you're going to hug your knees into your chest. We're done with our core work, so give yourself a little pat on the back. You did great. Rock left to right. Give yourself a mini back massage. And then start rocking front and back, forward and back, until you get enough momentum to plant your hands at the top of your mat. Step back into a plank position. Let's build through our first chaturanga flow. So in our plank, our heels stack above our ankles, our shoulders stack above our wrists. There's a straight line. We're engaging our core. What we're going to do is we're going to stare in front of us, bend our elbows halfway so that your elbows graze your ribs. Inhale, you're going to rise into your upward facing dog. Exhale, you're going to tuck the toes, use your core to send your hips back. Downward facing dog. We've been here before. How different does it feel now that we've engaged all our core, now that we've stretched out our legs? It's a totally different experience. So notice those tiny differences. Pay attention to it. It's your body trying to communicate with you. Listen to it. Great work. Now, on your next inhale, you're going to bend your knees. Exhale, look forward. We're going to step, float, hop to the top of our mat. Inhale, rise halfway. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Your full Uttanasana. Forward, fold. Inhale, let's rise into our mountain pose. Your hands come up with you. Exhale, your hands come to your sides. Inhale, rise. Urdhva Hastasana. Upward salute. Exhale, fold forward. Great job. Inhale, rise halfway. Your hands go on your shins, on your thighs, just not on your knees. Exhale, plant your hands to the ground, step, float, hop back, whatever you'd like. And we're going to come back into our plank. Let's go through our chaturanga flow. I'll give you another variation if you're into it. Another variation is we drop our knees to the ground. We swing our chest through in between our thumbs. Our chin touches the front of our mat. We're going to sweep forward through to our cobra position. And then tuck our toes, send our hips back, downward facing dog. So we got two options. Let's go through them one more time. Inhale, come to your plank pose. This one's the chaturanga dandasana to up dog to down dog. Bend your elbows. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Or variation number 2. Inhale, come forward into your plank position. Drop your knees, sweep your chest through. Inhale, rise cobra. Exhale, shoot it back, down dog. Great. Play with it, see which variation you'd like. This practice is made for you. So adjust it as need be. Pedal out your legs, get comfortable in this down dog. Let's calm our legs down now and just connect back to that breath. We got one breath. And two breaths. At the end of that exhale, look towards the top of your mat, bend your knees, step, float, hop. However you want to get to the top. Inhale, rise, halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way, Tadasana, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands by your sides. Inhale, rise, one more time. And then fold forward. Half lift. On your exhale, plant your hands, step, float, hop back into your Vinyasa Chaturanga of preference. And I'll meet everybody back in the downward facing dog. Let's do a couple breaths here. So we got one breath, two breaths, three, 4, and 5 breath. At the end of that exhale, bend your knees, step, float, hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, let's rise all the way. Exhale, hands by your sides. We got one more Surya Namaskar A to go. Our sun salutations. We're saying hello, we're saying thank you to the day. So let's make it count. Inhale, rise all the way, baby back bend. Exhale, fold forward. Half lift to palms planted. Go through your Vinyasa flow. And I'll meet everybody back in a down dog. All right, again, let's practice that Ujjayi breath, our victorious breath. Our breath is so important for our control of our mind, our thoughts, our emotions. The second we start to get stressed out, notice how your breath kind of disappears and we kind of stop breathing. So what do you think will happen if we redirect our attention to our breath and start thinking about how it's going up and down our body? Well, a lot of the time that stress, that little bit of emotion, that little bit of problematic feeling in our body, it just disappears, it just goes away. Just like that. Whoa, magic. No, it's just yoga, you guys. All right, at the end of your exhale, look forward towards the top of your mat, step, float, hop to the top of your mat as quietly as you can. Rise halfway, fold, rise all the way, and then take your hands to your sides. Let's take a breath here. Great work, everyone. Thank yourself for making your way onto your mat today. Let's set an intention for the rest of our class. So, now that you're all warmed up, now that you're all juicy, now that you're feeling all good, what's your intention for class? Do you want to work on your breath? Do you want to work on controlling how you feel and just giving your body some love? Do you want to send this practice to somebody you love? How about something you've been working on? For example, you guys, I've been working on my self-discipline recently. A lot of the time I trail off into some other world and I don't get everything done that I wanted to. So my intention for today is self-discipline, or tapas. Think about what you've been working on. Think about who you love. It can be yourself. It can totally be yourself. And dedicate your practice to that, to them, to whatever you'd like. Inhale, rise all the way, baby back bend. in your upward salute. Exhale, fold all the way down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands. If you're hopping back into your chaturanga, make sure that your knees are already, your elbows, are already bent when you do so. So we're not hopping back into straight elbows into our plank. No, we're hopping back straight into our chaturanga dandasana. Up dog and down dog. Great work, everyone. Let's take a breather here. Now you can come into your child's pose, or you can come into your Vajrasana, where you're sitting back on your heels, your thighs are out in front of you, your hands are palms up over your thighs. Eyes are closed and you're breathing. We're going to have a couple of points of rest throughout this practice. Use it wisely. Because on your next inhale, you're going to walk your hands forward. You're going to tuck your toes and come back into your down dog. All right, pedal out your legs one more time. And let's get flowing, everyone. On your next inhale, let's lift our right leg to the sky. Open up your hips, stack your hips, circle them out. Then straighten out your hips and take your right foot in between your hands. On our next inhale, we're going to twist our back heel down at a 45-degree angle and rise into our warrior one. Exhale, you're going to open up into a warrior two. This time your back heel is parallel to the back of your mat. Feel that stretch in your hips. We've already started to open them just a little bit. Feel that get more intense. Every inhale, our torso rises to the sky. Every exhale, our knee sinks deeper, our front knee. Great work. Now on our next inhale, we're going to fall into our triangle. Straighten your front leg. Look up towards your lifted hand. Exhale, we're going to come back into our warrior two. Inhale, you're going to straighten that front leg, tip down into your triangle. Exhale, you're going to bend that front knee and come back to your warrior two. Make sure you're not sacrificing that open hip when you make those transitions. One more time. Inhale, fall down into your triangle. Exhale, rise to your warrior two. Great work, everyone. On your next exhale, we're going to cartwheel our hands down, step our right foot back, come into your plank, and then into your chaturanga flow, whichever one you'd like. I'll meet everybody back in their down dog. Great work. On your next inhale, let's lift our left leg to the sky. Open up your hip. Make some circles, whatever you'd like. Come back to your three-legged dog. Hips are straight. Exhale, take your left foot in between your hands. Twist that back heel down at a 45-degree angle and rise into your first warrior one on your left side. Our hips are facing the front of our mat, and so are our torsos. We're looking straight in front of us. Exhale, open up into your warrior two. Take a wider stance and look over your front arm. Inhale, my torso rises. Exhale, I sink deeper into that front knee. Our left knee's going to start to send our body signals that, whoa, I'm in pressure, I'm under pain, man, discomfort. So, let's give it a little bit of a break, straighten it out, and on your inhale, fall into that triangle we've created. Exhale, come back up into that warrior two. Notice maybe your hip is feeling a little more open now that we've made that transition. And so we get to send our front knee lower and lower and lower. Inhale, straighten that front leg. Bend down into your triangle. Exhale, come back up. Now, when we're sinking lower and lower in that front knee, the one thing we do have to pay attention to is that our knee doesn't extend past our ankle. If your knee's extending past your ankle, you've taken this pose too far. And maybe take a wider step. One more time, let's straighten our front leg, tip down. Exhale, come back up. Your last breaths here. And on your exhale, cartwheel your hands down, step back, and I'll meet everybody in a plank. Go through your chaturanga of preference. So, upward facing dog on your inhale and downward facing dog on your exhale. Great work, everyone. Let's take a little bit of a break. Come into your child's pose or your Vajrasana, whatever you'd like. Eyes closed and you're breathing. Feel that heart rate slow. And on your next exhale, start to make your hands towards the top of your mat. Tuck your toes. And we'll come back into a down dog. Great work. Now make sure you're in a clean down dog. That means your shoulders are splaying away from your head. There's a micro bend in your knees. You're looking towards your back feet. You're gonna, on your exhale, bend your knees, look forward, step, float, hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, rise for your half lift. Exhale, fold. On your next inhale, you're gonna sit down into a chair pose, so your hands reach towards the sky, your core is flexed, and you're sitting as far back as you can. A lot of the weight's in your heels. Don't forget to breathe in this really tough posture. And on your exhale, fold forward. Shake it out, pedal out the legs, maybe grab for opposite elbow and swing left to right. Inhale, half lift. Straighten out that spine. Exhale, forward fold. We got round 2 coming. So, inhale, sit back down, raise your hands high up to the sky, chair pose. Now take your hands to heart center, and we're going to twist to the right side of our mat. Our left elbow is going to hook onto our right knee. You can use that pressure you've created between your palms to press your palms together and intensify that stretch, that rotation, that twist in our spine. We're wringing out our digestive organs here. Really good for the digestive system. Really hypes it up. Exhale, you're going to come back to your center and fold. Great work. Recover from all that work. Do what your body's asking you for, left to right, some movement, some stretching. You know your body best, so listen to it. Give it a shout. Because you know we got one more round coming. On your next inhale, straighten out your back, fold, And then sit back down for your third and final chair pose, Utkatasana. Take your hands to heart center in an Anjali Mudra. And now we're going to hook our right elbow onto the left side of our knee. Press your palms together to wring out the spine. And take your gaze up with you. One more breath here. Come back to center. And on your exhale, fold. Inhale, rise halfway, reset that spine. Plant your hands, step, float, hop back into your chaturanga flow. Linger in your upward facing dog. And then I'll meet everybody back in their down dog. Breathe here. Engage that Ujjayi breath, don't forget about it. And we're going to continue with our warriors. So, inhale, lift your right leg to the sky. Exhale, open it out, swing it out. Straighten it back out. And on your next exhale, take it through in between your hands. On your inhale, rise to your warrior one. Exhale, open. Up. Take a wider stance for your warrior two. Inhale, straighten that front knee. Bend forward, triangle. Exhale, back to your warrior two. Inhale, triangle. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, triangle. Exhale, warrior two. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come back into our triangle, but then just lift our arms as if though we were going into a warrior two with our front leg totally straight. Now you're going to twist your front foot so that it's parallel to the top of your mat. So we are in this wide-legged stance, right? Our hands can go on our hips. And let's just shake out our booty for a second, see what kind of stretch is there, if we're feeling tight there. A lot of the time we hold a lot of tension in our hips. So you should feel a lot of good vibes coming from literally just moving around in this pose. See what feelings it brings up. See what emotions it brings up, and take them away with the breath with every exhale. Now take your hands up to the sky, baby back bend, and exhale, fold for your wide-legged forward fold, or your Prasarita Padottanasana. Maybe you want to walk your hands back behind you so that your head reaches closer and closer to the ground. It's okay if it doesn't get there. Mine doesn't yet. Inhale, you're going to walk your hands out in front of you and rise for a half lift position. Exhale, you're going to fold. This time we're going to intensify that stretch in our hips by reaching our peace fingers for our big toes. You're going to wrap the peace fingers around your big toes and your thumb to secure it, and then you're going to start to bend your elbows. To intensify that stretch, you should feel it in your hamstrings and your hips. And don't forget to breathe. One more breath here. Take your hands out in front of you. Half lift. Fold. Take your hands to your hips. On your next inhale, you're going to rise all the way back into our wide-legged standing posture. Great job. You're going to twist your front foot back to the top of your mat. And you're going to come meet your right foot. I'll meet you guys in a Tadasana at the top of your mat. Is what I meant to say. So we're here. We're clear, and we're ready to gear. Is that a thing? I think so. All right, everyone. On our next inhale, let's rise into our Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. And then we're going to come back into our chair pose. So, sit down, take your hands up with you, and breathe. Flex your core. Now, take your hands to your heart center, and we're going to twist to the right side, hooking our left elbow over our right knee. Bring it out. And then, I invite you guys, only if it's in your practice, to come into a side crow. So, for your side crow, you're going to get your hands perpendicular to the wide side of your mat. They're shoulder width distance apart. You're going to pick a spot on the ground in front of you, a drishti spot, or something that's not moving, right? So you can imitate its qualities. And you're going to tuck your knees over your left tricep, hug your right tricep in, look at that non-moving point and start to hinge, to hover. Maybe look towards your feet. And then, as slow as you can, come out of it. I'll meet you guys in a forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, rise halfway. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands. Step, float, hop back. Let's go through our chaturanga flow. So bend your elbows. Rise and linger in your up dog or your cobra. Take your chest to the sky. And exhale. Tuck your toes, come back to that down dog. Definitely building that heat in our body. We're working on that fire, that Manipura chakra, that yellow chakra just above our navel. It's where you build all that fire, all that energy for the day. So you're definitely going to use this later if you're doing this in the morning. If you're doing this at night, I invite you guys to take a really, really relaxing Shavasana at the end of this, because you're going to want to cool that fire down. Inhale, lift your left leg to the sky. Exhale, open it out. Make some circles with your knees. Come back to your straight leg, three-legged dog. Exhale, swing your left leg through in between your hands. Hinge that back heel down, rise for your warrior one. Exhale, open into your warrior two. Inhale, straighten your leg, dip down, triangle. Exhale, come up, warrior two. Straighten out that leg, dip down, triangle. Look up towards your lifted hand. Exhale, come back to your warrior two. Gaze follows the left hand in front of you. All right. Bend forward into that triangle, look up towards your lifted hand. Exhale. Come out into your warrior two. You know what's coming, you guys. So, you're going to dip down into your triangle one last time, but this time you're going to lift your arms as if though they're in a warrior two without bending your front leg. Parallel out the legs so that they're parallel to the short sides of your mat. Make sure you got enough mat space in front of you. Now what we're going to do, we're in this wide-legged position. We're going to turn our heels in so that they face each other. We're in a goddess pose. Take your hands to your heart center and just start to swing left to right. Whoa. Really, really intense in the hips, in the inner hips. Again, you might feel a lot of emotion rush towards you. That's okay. Let it happen, let it come, invite it, and say peace out with that exhale. Very important that we know how to say peace when we're confronted with something that's not necessarily comfortable. All right, you guys, I bet your butt's feeling pretty intense. So what we're going to do is we're going to straighten our legs back out, parallel our feet, we're back in that wide-legged stand. Now what we're going to do is interlace our hands behind us and pull down so our heart lifts towards the sky. We're opening up our heart. Whoa, feel all that space you've created in your upper chest. So new. On your exhale, you're going to start to hinge forward at your hips, taking your hands with you. Your head swings down to the ground, and your hands follow on top. Take your hands as far forward as you can without sacrificing that wrist-to-wrist connection you've created. One more breath here. And on your inhale, reverse those actions and rise back up with your arms still intersected. Now, let's wring out our wrists, make sure that our wrists are safe, our wrists are happy, our wrists are comfortable. We're going to take our hands up to the sky, baby back bend, and fold forward in this wide-legged position. Now remember those variations we took last time? You're very, very welcome to go for them. So maybe walk your hands back, take your head to the ground with it. Maybe grab for your big toes with your peace fingers. Or you guys can use this time to come into a headstand. Two types you can do. You can do the little V-shaped support system where you interlace your hands and the back of your head hugs into that space you've created. Or from that position where your hands are behind you, your elbows are going to be in line with your shoulders. You're going to press your hands into the ground, and you're going to come up into a tripod headstand. Now, this should be more of a balancing posture than a strength posture, so you should feel your weight evenly distributed between your hands and your head. Remember, you're always engaging your core. Your core is the most fundamental in all of yoga, in all honesty, but especially in any kind of balancing postures. Our arm balances, our headstands, handstands. A couple more breaths here, and then as slowly as you can, start to come back into that wide-legged stance. Great work, everyone. Walk your hands out back in front of you. Half lift in this wide-legged posture. Fold. And then hands on your hips. Let's rise all together. Everyone, great work. Whew, let it out. Turn that left foot back towards the front of your mat. We're going to step, float, hop. Make your way onto the top of your mat. Whoa, Tadasana is what he meant to say. So, lift up all the way, Urdhva Hastasana, baby back bend, forward fold. And you know what's coming. So, we're going to play with that chair pose and side crow. If you want, remember, you stay in that chair, right? Or whatever posture you're really feeling. If you're really wiped out, always invite you for a child's pose. Inhale, sit back. Rise for your chair pose. Exhale, take your hands to heart center. Inhale, twist to the left side, hooking your right elbow over your left knee. Bring it out. Exhale, take your hands perpendicular to the wide side of your mat on your left side. We're going to pick that point of focus, that drishti point, that non-moving point. Hug our elbows in. Make sure that the weight of our knees is on our right tricep. Look at that point of focus and slowly start to hinge. Lifting our legs with us. Maybe you want to look at your legs. And as slowly as you can, come out of the posture. I'll meet you guys back in a forward fold at the top of your mat. Shake it out, wiggle it out. Inhale, rise halfway. Exhale, plant your hands, step, float, hop back. I'll meet everybody back in a downward facing dog. However you get there. Whew, we've done so much work. Let's take a second of rest. So come into your child's pose or your Vajrasana, whatever you prefer right now. Close your eyes and return your focus back to that beautiful breath of yours. See how quickly you can get your heartbeat back down to where it was at the beginning of class, when we were so calm, when we were so centered. Can those two elements exist in the same room together? That fire we've created in our stomachs, right, in our abs. And that cool, calming breath. Can they coexist? Of course they can. So make it happen. I believe in you guys. One more breath here. And on your inhale, start to make your hands towards the top of your mat. Come back up into your downward dog. Great job, everyone. Pedal out your legs. Feel that heat stretch out the backs of your hamstrings. Feel how much more comfortable this pose is than it was just 20-30 minutes ago when we first started it. Great work. Now, on your inhale, take your right leg to the sky. Exhale, you're going to sweep it through for your half pigeon. That means your lower leg is parallel to the top of your mat. It doesn't have to be. It can be tucked in at a 45-degree-ish angle, as long as you don't feel any pain in your right knee. Your left leg is jutting out straight behind you. You want to make it as parallel to the wide sides of your mat as you possibly can, so not leaning left or right. Now you're going to walk your hands so that they're on either side of your hip, and make sure you can balance there so that we've built a stable base for our half pigeon. On your exhale, you're going to hinge at your hip. Take your hands down first. If this is enough for you, stay here. Maybe come onto your forearms or all the way forehead to the mat for your half pigeon. And we're breathing. How quickly can you go from 100 to 0? Notice how the second I stop talking, your brain may be flooded with 100 million thousand thoughts. Well, that's a lot of thoughts. Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you have to do after this class. It doesn't matter what you have to get done by tonight for your final exams coming up. Because right now you've chosen this hour for yourself. You've chosen this hour to come into your space, come into your safe space, your space of practice, your space of worship, your space of comfort, that beautiful, beautiful space of self-love. So use every second of it, even these seconds, where we're just letting our outer right hip sink closer and closer to the ground with every breath. If you want to stay here, please do. If you want to come into a quad stretch with me, come up onto your hands first. Bend your left knee so that your left foot comes in. Take your right hand to the center of your mat. Sweep your left arm up and around to catch the inside of your left foot. And hug your heel in closer and closer. Turn your gaze out to the front of your mat. Oh, that feels good, especially when you get closer and closer to the ground. If you want to intensify this, maybe hug your foot into your elbow, and then wrap it around for your full mermaid variation. And slowly, as slow as you can, don't let your left leg jut back. You're going to take it back to the ground, come onto that left heel, swing that right foot back into your three-legged dog, and start to wiggle out your hip. Introduce some new life into it. It might have fallen asleep and all that half pigeon stress and nonsense. All right, let's take our right leg back behind us and then take it to meet our left foot on the ground. Great work. I don't know where that accent came from. I can't do a British accent, so don't kill me for it, please. Are you guys ready for a half pigeon on your left side? I am. Let's do it. Inhale, take your left leg to the sky. Exhale, sweep it through for your half pigeon. So your left lower leg is parallel to the top of your mat in the perfect half pigeon, but our bodies aren't symmetrical, so this side might be very, very different. You might have to turn it in a little closer. My leg doesn't extend past like a 45-degree angle on the left side for some reason, so that's okay. Listen to your body. Walk your hands back so that they're on opposite side of your hips. We've created that stable base. And then slowly start to hinge at your hips and come onto your hands, forearms, or forehead. When you're there, if you want to intensify your stretch, maybe you walk your back foot even further back. Remember, maintaining that parallel structure, so it's not walking back to the left or back to the right. No, it's walking straight back. Now lean back, now lean back. All right, inappropriate. So, let's stay here. Let's talk about cleanliness, or saucha, as it's called in our niyamas. Cleanliness, cleaning out the mind, the body, getting rid of all of those unnecessary things, emotions, thoughts. Sounds a lot easier than it actually is. We're flooded with so many of them in our lifetimes. So how do you choose those that are important and those that aren't? Well, my little trick to it is live in the here and the now. What do you need right now to survive? What feelings? Do you need all those feelings of guilt, regret? I don't think so. I think you need a clear mind and a smile to make it through your day, to make it through the week. So a lot of the time, all those feelings I hold in my hips, yeah, I feel connected to them. Yeah, they're very important to me, sentimental. But a lot of the time, they're very unnecessary for me to live my life. So when I come into a pose like this, half pigeon, I let those feelings go with the open hip. Feel those weird emotions rising up. Acknowledge them, say, hey, I see you, bro. And then wave them a little goodbye. Or with those peace fingers we were working with, right? Let's take it back to the 70s. Peace, brah. Okay. If you guys want to stay in this half pigeon, please do. If you want to work on your quad stretch, come up onto your hands. Swing that back foot up. Take your left hand to the center of your mat. And your right hand sweeps up and around to grab the inside of your right foot. We're hugging our foot in closer to our butt, to our gluteus maximus. Look forward. If you want to take it a step further, please do. I really can't on this side, right? Again, we aren't symmetrical. So listen to your body, to what it wants, to what it begs of you. And then as slowly as you can, reverse those steps, taking your foot down first, planting your hands, tucking your toe, sending your left foot back, opening it up, making some circles. And then taking it down to meet your right foot. Pedal out your legs. Great work. Whoa, we've done so much. And now it's time to really, really slow things down. So, On your next inhale, you're going to bend your knees, look forward, step to the top of your mat, and sit down. Make sure you have enough space so that you can extend your legs out in front of you. Plant your hands on opposite sides of your hips. And press into your palms to create a Dandasana staff pose, a really, really long line from our tailbone all the way up to the crown of our head. Now you're going to flex your feet back behind you. Notice your knees might rise. If you have tight hamstrings, that's okay. A lot of us guys do. Girls as well, right? A trick we learned in my studio was if people are insecure of the word tight, you just say, "You got really strong hamstrings." So we all have incredibly strong hamstrings, so let's maybe lift our knees up with us. Now on your inhale, you're going to take your hands up to the sky. Exhale, you're going to fold at your hips and try to reach for your toes. If your hands don't reach for your toes, that's okay. Bend your knees a little bit more. What we're really looking for is that straight spine. Otherwise, maybe reach for outer sides of your feet or interlace your hands behind your feet. Or if this isn't enough, a lot of us that are really, really stretchy, maybe you reach for opposite wrists behind your feet. Take it to whatever step you'd like. Inhale, you're going to pay attention to that back and straighten it out as much as you can. Look up. Exhale, you're going to hinge lower. With every exhale, we create so much more space in our body, so it's actually a lot more accessible, that fold forward. Inhale, we're going to rise, so lengthen out that back, that straight line. Exhale, fold closer and closer to your legs. Your gaze looks towards your toes. Repeat that process with your inhale and exhale. Every inhale, you extend. Every exhale, you fold deeper. This is just like our forward fold at the top of our mat, but seated. It's a Paschimottanasana position. So don't make it harder than it has to be. One more breath here. On your last exhale, drop your hands and slowly rise. Your head and your shoulders are the last things to come up. When your shoulders reach up, maybe you want to give them a little bit of a shrug back. And now what we're going to do is we're going to hug our right knee in first. Then we're going to put it so that our right foot, comes into our left thigh. We're going to twist our torso so that we're facing our left leg. Inhale, rise, lift our hands with us. Exhale, we're going to fold into our Janu Shirshasana, our head to knee pose. So our head reaches as close to our left knee as possible. We're still looking at our front toes. Remember, the point here is the long spine and not the fold, right? Not to stretch out the hamstrings. So with every inhale we lift, every exhale we take our chin or head closer to that knee. Last breath here. Drop your hands. Come up slowly, surely. And let's swap the legs. So your right leg reaches out forward in front of you. Hug your left knee in first, and then your left foot in that inner crevice of your right thigh. Lift your hands up on your inhale. Make sure you're twisted towards your right leg, and exhale, fold forward for that right leg Janu Shirshasana. Last breath, drop your hands, roll up slowly. Hug your right knee in. And now, get your feet to touch. We have a straight spine, and our feet are touching. Our knees are splaying wide open. Maybe I'll face you guys. For your Baddha Konasana, or your butterfly pose. Now, like a book, open up your feet so that your knees reach lower and lower towards the ground. Let's do a forward fold here. So, inhale, take your hands up to the sky. Exhale, you're going to hinge at the hip. And as far as you can, that's okay. I can't go all the way down, so I'm going to walk my hands forward like little spiders, right? With every exhale, I might get closer and closer and closer to the ground. But I'm not forcing it, because that's dangerous for our backs. Breathe in this Baddha Konasana. And then let it all go. Slowly roll up. Give your shoulders a little roll at the top. Let it all go. If you're making circles in one direction, reverse that. Make circles in the other direction. And then lie back down on your backs. Hug your knees into your chest. Give yourselves a rock left to right. Massage out that lower back. It should feel really, really good, especially after all of those forward folds. In general, you should feel a lot of that dormant energy kind of floating around, running around, and really, really playing with the adrenaline in your body, with the endorphins in your body. Now what we're going to do is we're going to plant our feet so that they're pretty close to our bum. They're pretty close to our butt. How close should they be? Well, you should be able to touch your heels with your middle fingers for our Setu Bandhasana, or our bridge pose. Now for this pose, we have our hips, we have our feet hips width distance apart, right? We have our feet pressing into the mat, our shoulders are pressing into the mat, our neck is long out behind us, and we're going to engage our hips and lift our hips up towards the sky. You can press your palms into the mat to make this pose a little more accessible. If you want to intensify it, maybe walk your shoulders in closer under you. And next step, interlace your hands under you. That you've really, really created that bridge with your shoulders, your scapula, and your hands. Every inhale, your chest should come closer and closer to your throat, engaging that throat lock, that Jalandhara Bandha. One more breath here. And on your exhale, slowly reverse those steps, taking your butt to the ground. We got 2 more rounds to go. So for now, maybe windshield wipe your knees left to right. Come back to that space. Happiness, stillness, calmness. And then as we get ready for side 2, I'm gonna introduce you guys to a variation. For this next round, if you guys would like to go into your full wheel variation, you're very welcome to. What's my full wheel? Well, you're going to walk your feet just a little further out, maybe a foot further than they were before, and you're going to swing your arms up and around so that your hands are on opposite sides of your ears, and your fingers are pointing towards the top of your mat. So your wrists are pointing back, right? Now for this full wheel variation, on your inhale, you're going to first lift your hips and rise onto the crown of your head, to even out this pose. And then on your next inhale, rise all the way into your wheel, extending out your legs and flexing that core. If you've chosen to come into your bridge, that's totally fine. Stay there. Just a couple more breaths. If you're in your wheel, every inhale, your head drops further back and your feet push further in. Exhale, reverse those steps slowly, coming back to lying on your mat. Windshield wipe your knees. A lot of the time in those poses, we forget about our breath. So our third and final round, I'd like you guys to pay a lot more attention to your breath and see if you guys still got it. I still got it. I know you still do. All right. Our third and final round. So whichever variation you'd like, that's either your wheel, your Urdhva Dhanurasana, or your bridge, your Setu Bandhasana. So, on 3, 2, 1, I'll meet you guys there. And we're breathing. Last couple of breaths. 3, 2, and on your exhale, slowly, surely come out of it. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock left to right. Oh no, she didn't. Oh yes, she did. All right. Take this time to yourself. Reconnect with that breath, with that stillness in your body. Remember, try and see if that fire and that air can coexist in your body. And if it doesn't today, that's okay. We'll try again tomorrow and maybe it'll work then. Great work, everyone. So, we're going to start to rock. Forward and back. Forward and back. Until we gain enough momentum to plot our hands, step back, and come onto our knees for our tabletop position. Great work. Now I want you to sweep your right arm to the sky, open up your chest to the right, and then sweep it under and towards the left side. Your palm should be facing up. If you want to intensify this stretch, lift your left hand to the sky and maybe around for your half bind. You're looking up at the ceiling because your chest is following the direction of your arms. Exhale, slowly reverse those actions. So plant your left hand down first. Swing your right hand up. Give yourself that opposite side stretch. And take it to the ground. We got our left side to go. Inhale, sweep your left leg up. Open your left leg, your left arm up. Open your chest up to the left side of your mat. And then sweep your left hand under. Lift your right arm up to the sky, and then go for that half bind, if you like. Our gaze follows our chest and looks up at the ceiling. And on your next exhale, we reverse those actions. Plant your right hand, unthread that needle, is what we like to say. Counter that stretch, and take your left hand down. Great work, everyone. Now, let's come back into that Vajrasana, so knees hug in. Sit back on your heels. Your hands come on top of your thighs. And breathe. All right, these are our closing postures. So we're going to go through a shoulder stand and a happy baby. If there's anything else that you'd like to do, now is your time to do it. Again, the really good thing about YouTube videos is you get to pause it and do whatever you want if this isn't enough for you. So take advantage of that online world. Otherwise, swing your legs to one side so that they reach in front of you. Inch your booty closer to the top of your mat, that you have enough space behind you. And we're going to come into our shoulder stand. To come into your shoulder stand, you're going to rock your hips up and catch your lower back with your hands simultaneously. Your feet reach the sky. There's one straight line from your cervical spine all the way to your toes. And we're breathing. Yeah, our throat lock's engaged, but that doesn't mean we can't access the breath. Maybe you want to walk your hands lower down your spine to intensify that shoulder stand. Otherwise, on your next inhale, we're going to start to hinge our legs back into a plow position. For our plow, your legs are straight and your toes are just grazing the ground behind you. Extend your arms out in front of you, maybe fingers interlaced. And we're staring up at our navel. Breathe here. If you want to come into your deaf man's pose, hug your ears with your knees. Give yourself a tight squeeze so that you can't hear anything. And slowly start to reverse those steps, coming back up into your shoulder stand first, and then taking your hips and your legs to the ground. Great work. So now we're going to come into the final pose of this class, our happy baby. We're going to scoot our hips back to the middle of our mat, lie your back down. Now you're going to sweep your feet up and grab for opposite sides of your feet. Now your hands are going to pull your feet closer in towards the ground, and your feet are going to push your hands towards the ceiling. So it's this kind of inverse muscle movement, right? It creates that balance that we need in life. Notice, illness comes from imbalance, and health, happiness, stable, right? Stable feeling, stable state of mind. It's all bred in balance. So let's engage these muscles. Maybe you want to straighten out one leg. Maybe you want to straighten out the other. We are in a happy baby, so maybe you want to make some baby noises. Wah. Well, that's kind of a sad baby. So maybe a lion's breath. For your lion's breath, you're going to take a deep breath in. Squeeze all your face muscles together. Make a grouchy face, and then open up your mouth and let it all out with your tongue out. Great work. Now slowly take your legs out long in front of you. Let them splay out so that your heels face each other, and your outer edge of the outer edges of your feet are on the ground. Your palms are facing up towards the sky alongside you. Your neck is long behind you, and your shoulders are close together under you, hugging in. Great work. We finally made it to our Shavasana, our corpse pose. Arguably the most important pose of our posture, of our class, because here is where we reap the benefits of our practice. We were so engaged. We were so moving through this entire class. And now we get to feel the stillness. Let our body say, yeah, great work, man. I'm really grateful. So feel gravity pull the weight of your body towards the ground. Feel your feet press into the ground, your legs, your hands, your arms, your hips, shoulders. Feel the weight of your head on the ground. Our head weighs so much, and we have to lug it around all day, every day. So it must feel nice to just let gravity do the work for us for just a couple of moments. You might notice your thoughts starting to attack you the second things go quiet. That's okay, remember what we said. Take your attention back to the breath. Acknowledge your thoughts. Say hey. And then give them the peace fingers. Peace out, bro. So I'm going to start to take you guys out of this Shavasana. If you'd like to stay here longer, please do. Remember, the benefits of the YouTube world is you can just put me on pause. Otherwise, I'd like you guys to start to lengthen out your exhales, which in turn will lengthen out our inhales as well. Introduce some subtle movement to your toes, wiggle them out, to your fingers. Maybe roll your head left to right. Then we're going to hug our knees into our chest, one knee at a time or all together. Give yourself one last squeeze. On your own breath, your own time, you're going to come up into a seated position without sacrificing that closed eye practice, right? Make your way into a seated position of your choice. You can be crisscross applesauce. You can be in that Vajrasana position we did a bunch of times during this practice. Your palms splay open on either knee. There's a long spine on the back. And we're focusing on our breath. I want to thank you guys so much for making it onto your mats today. I want you guys to thank yourselves because your body's feeling awesome. And then I want to lead these smiles, these good vibes, into our closing Om. So take your hands to the center of your chest. Take a deep breath in, and all together. Take your attention to your third eye center. Take your hands up to your third eye center. And all of us, we bow in gratitude. Thank you so much. Namaste. At your own pace, flutter open your eyes. Come back to seated. I want to say one more time, thank you guys so much for making it out today. I'm so grateful to have you guys. Please like, subscribe, leave any comments. And peace out. I hope to see you soon. Yeah!